How on a day, my people, I greet you. It's your guy, Case Jaffet Media. As it happen, I say make I bring this update. As it happen for court today. Let me brief you small. It's concerning the you go get right to get your lawyer, to get your doctor, or you no go get right. But today, finally, Nnamdi have won for this one. So Justice Bintayako have granted him the right to choose his own personal doctor who will take care of him. I want you to listen to his lawyer. And if you are not following me, brother, do well to follow me. Share so that other people will hear. Thank you.
He has told me as his lead counsel, as his lawyer, that he does not believe in it. That he cannot be fighting for his people and be shutting down their economy. How do they feel? How will they train their children? Many a time he cried to me in my presence that he wants to be released so that he can hold a world press conference and address the Indigbos and the Alaibos and the entire world to say, don't stay at home on Mondays, go about your normal duties, work. Because the Bible tells us it is upon the fruits of your hand. I will bless you the labor of your hands. So I'm now re-echoing it again and again what Nnamdi Kanu has told me. He does not believe in that seat at home on Mondays, which cripples the social, economic, cultural, political life of the people, putting them under psychological, mental, spiritual, and torture. And the point must again be made, even if for the opting time, for record purposes, because they are bound. Today, as usual, in all cases I handle, God was again on the throne to do what he knows how best to do, enthrone justice and fair play to ensure that his creatures and creation do his bidding. It is in Lamentations 3:37. Who is he that speaketh, and it cometh to pass, if God has not commanded it? Today, this court, the Honorable Justice Bintayako, granted all the reliefs sought for by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu before the court. The young Nigerian patriot, Igbo's self-determination czar, who was extraordinarily, illegally, unconstitutionally, torturously, brutally renditioned from Kenya back to Nigeria on the 27th of June 2021. Today, the court agreed with us that the reliefs we asked for must be granted, and the judge granted. What were these reliefs? That Nnamdi Kanu be allowed access to medical doctors of his own choice, as earlier also ruled by this honorable court since October 2021, but which ruling was continuously, serially, and contumaciously breached by the SSS. Today, the court ruled that he was entitled to have access to his medical practitioners of his own choice, and that these medical practitioners, any examination or procedure is to be done on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu outside the facilities of the SSS, and that such examination or procedure should be recorded. Should be recorded. She made that order. She also made the order that all his medical records should be made available to him. Because in any event, it is the right of a patient to have access to and see his medical records so that he can always have a review and update on these medical records. She couldn't see why such a simple demand should be denied him. The SSS had filed a preliminary objection that this action was similar to the one earlier filed before this court and also before the court in Umuahia, Federal High Court. The court held that that was not true, that the parties may be similar, but that the course of action was certainly different. Because in that action, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu had sought for the enforcement of his fundamental human rights, which were granted by the Federal High Court in Umuahia, sitting in Umuahia. And guess what? The court had imposed a fine, damages of 500 million naira against the federal government of Nigeria, which, as I speak to you, has never been paid. I may begin to take steps to enforce that judgment. Since the olive branch we have held out in the last 2 years has not been responded to. But that, on the other hand, the case before this court today was for an order of mandamus to compel a public agency, which is the DSS, to carry out its duty, which it has refused to carry out as laid down by law, after we wrote them letters, 2 letters, in October and November 2022, urging them to carry out what the court has today granted. They refused. So the court held that the 2 suits were different, one from the other, and that the earlier judgment before the Federal High Court, Umuahia Judicial Division, is not the same as the judgment she delivered today. So the court granted all our reliefs. Now the Kanu should now have access to his medical records, which so far have become a voodoo, which so far have become a mirage, which so far have become like an apparition, like a ghost, which so far have become like a subject matter of witches and wizards operating in a coven, not being seen